Sorry for the mess. I wasn't expecting visitors this weekend. I guess I should introduce myself. I'm Julie, and you are? I see. Strong silent type, eh? Hi, Mom. Caller display. That's how. Yep, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm still planning to go ahead with it. No, I don't need you to come down. Why? I guess to process, I suppose. I don't feel like hanging around friends right now, Mom. How many? A couple glasses? I'm a big girl now, you know. Yeah, look. Hey, how are you? No, I'd just rather not talk about it. Yep, if I need anything at all, I will. Love you too. Bye. 36 years old. She can still push my buttons. Seriously, do mothers go to tactical manipulation hideouts to learn this kind of crap? Or is it a hormonal surge? Or does it just come naturally? Big help you are. There was just something about him, I suppose. As unoriginal as that sounds. He had a smile that just went right through me. He knew it too. Used it every time he got himself into trouble. Made me just melt. Brains? Wasn't brains I was interested in now, was it? Don't get me wrong, he read. Definitely not a rocket scientist. Wasn't even my type, really. We bumped into each other at a friend's party. He was wearing his motorcycle jacket and trying to look so cool. At least, that's how I pegged him. Kept hitting on me all night. I wouldn't give him the time of day. A week later, we ran into each other on the street. And he's carrying this really huge bouquet of flowers. I mean, an expensive arrangement. I didn't even know who he was at first. But he came right up to me, handed me the flowers, and started talking about how he meant to get my number. How he was glad he tracked me down. I gotta tell you, the idea of some guy from a party tracking me down. But I gave him my number, and that's what started everything. It was only after we hooked up that I realized those flowers were meant for somebody else. That he was really a delivery guy working at some florist. And he was just doing a coworker a favor by dropping them off to an address that was in his part of town. Dumb luck. Dumb luck. Our first date was a disaster. We were both so nervous. He was arranging the coasters, lining the edge up with the table. I was playing with my hair. I hate girls that play with their hair. all the disasters of trying to make a good first impression. Like, I noticed when we were kissing, I kept opening up my eyes and looking. It wasn't like I was staring or anything. It's really, I was just peeking to see if he was still kissing me. Or just feeling the impression of his lips on mine. You know, the first time we made love, there was no love involved. Nope, it was pure unadulterated sex. We'd spent the night dancing our asses off, and okay, we were a bit drunk. And then when he drove me home, we got into some kissing and touching, and before you knew it, there was a trail of clothes right from the door to the bed. You know, that's when I discovered this annoying habit he had. Sometimes in his sleep, he would just start laughing for no apparent reason. I mean, he'd be dead asleep and then just start laughing his ass off. I'd wake up and ask him, what the hell is so funny? Of course he wouldn't answer. He was asleep. One shouldn't just go on laughing without sharing the joke, don't you think? You know, he proposed to me on this trip. He had a way of picking the strangest times to be romantic. He was acting weird all day and waited till we were skinny dipping at night. All of a sudden he's on the dock and in his hand is a ring, and he says, "So, you want to make it legal?" I just stared at him. I guess he was getting a little nervous I was taking so long to answer. So he grabbed my clothes and said if I didn't say yes, he was going to leave with my clothes. I was stunned. I mean, it was either walking 15 minutes back to the campsite naked or say yes. I said yes, of course. I didn't want to get eaten alive by mosquitoes. You know, it's funny the things we collect. With Mark, it was books. Sure, he read a few of them, but he mostly just bought them to make himself look intellectual. He was like that on our honeymoon. We stayed at this B&B on the lake. It was really beautiful there. Well, one evening, this poor guy wanted to take his bride windsurfing. Mark gets into a pissing match over proper windsurfing techniques. He read it in a book, and suddenly, he's the expert. The couple ended up going horseback riding instead. Mark could be so pig-headed sometimes. But I loved him. Say, you wouldn't want a book, would you? Didn't think so. Oh. Looks delicious, doesn't it? I used to hate making dinner. I'm more of a takeout gal myself. But Mark, he had this thing about his food. On his plate, the peas couldn't be touching the potatoes, and the meat had to be separate from the corn. It was getting to be such a big deal we couldn't go out anymore. Sometimes when we'd have a fight, he'd later bat those big green eyes at me. Take my hand, say sorry, put on some berry white, and then we'd dance. Why does it take a fight to get a guy to be romantic? Hey, you know, we had a great wedding. Your typical white wedding. Mom was so proud. You know, it's funny. The one day that should be for us ended up being for everybody else. Mark, he wanted to go to Las Vegas and have an Elvis thing. What's with Elvis? I'll never understand that. I wanted a wedding in a glen, outside, you know, surrounded by beautiful trees. In the end, we compromised. We had a church wedding. It's what Mother wanted, of course. You know, he used to hate Mr. Quackers. How could anybody possibly hate a rubber ducky? Come on, isn't he cute? He used to say I was so immature and that I should grow up. This coming from a total child himself. He asked me once if I wanted children. I said, I already had one, thanks. And I didn't need to change his diapers yet.